it's Rebecca's question, and she wants to know, where did the humor come from? Like, was this like yours? Like, who wrote all these jokes? And
one person who isn't here, our narrative director and co-founder, Pierre Charette. He's I don't know. This is very him. This.
Yeah, I think there's also working. We worked at Telltale together for a long time, and so there's certain things you can and can't say when you're working for a bigger company. And this was a thing where we started our own studio, and he just kind of got to do whatever. And so we were like,
you just create characters essentially to like be joke machines for different personalities that you wanted to write for, so it ended up. It's funny. His episode 1 is actually pretty wholesome, and outside of the dicks.
Which were
written late. So the toxic scene, all that stuff was one of the last things we wrote. We added it to the top of the game. And it was actually intentionally a little bit cruder, and like the whole thing where his clothes melt off was to help it. So when you get to episode 2, it wasn't so stark, because everything else in episode 1's pretty like wholesome's the wrong word, but there's like heartfelt and like it's a little bit more genuine. And that was because that's where we wanted to not make a game that was super depressing. And we started basically, we wrote this game, and then the pandemic hit, and then when we went back to rewrite it, it was like super sad, and so we went back and we wanted to like make it be a little more Ted Lasso, a little bit more feel good, and then so that's how episode 1 kind of turned into what it was. But then we got too busy, and he just started writing a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, it's also like when you're making something, it's like what you're watching at the time just seeps in. So when we worked on The Wolf Among Us, it was like Drive, the movie, back in the day.
Yeah.
And then for this game, Barry started making an influence in there, and then Dave. So some of that crudeness, I think, started seeping into the script around the time we were watching that stuff.
Veep was the we were all rewatching Veep at the time, and everyone in that show is just like equally mean and funny. So it's kind of some of the inspiration.
Nice. All right, who has a question? Give me a hand. All right, first. Boom.
So we collect physical media, and we were wondering, is there a plan for a physical edition, and more importantly, will that include physical comic books?
Did everyone hear the question? Yeah? Yeah, physical media. What is it, Dennis?
We would love Dispatch to be everywhere and make as many copies of everything as we can.
Okay. I think there's a desire to do that. There's a desire. It's just a matter of logistics and stuff, and the game's been successful enough where we probably can do something eventually, I'll say.
And, because we released episodically, we had to be digital first. Mm-hmm. So now it's really all we've thought about for the last few years is just, can we get this out on time, every week reliably? And so now we did that, and now we're kind of have to evaluate everything else and go, all right, what's all the other stuff we've been ignoring for the last few years? So,
cool. Yeah. All right. Nope. I'll get that.
Seeing the success and popularity of the game, do you think there might be a season 2?
We thought this would come up.
We can neither confirm nor deny anything at this point. But,
yeah, I mean, we were running at this thing, didn't know. I mean, we kind of threw everything we had into this. So we didn't know if it was going to be successful for a long time. We didn't know it was going to come out. So I think there was always desire to do more. There's a lot of great reception. A lot of people enjoyed it. So there's definitely feels like we could if we wanted to do it. We had to make plans for other things in the future. So, just in case this didn't work. So now we're just reevaluating everything and kind of just figuring it out. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, since we started the studio in 2018, it's been a long road getting something to actually release. So yeah, our entire focus, like you don't have any brain power for anything other than the thing you're trying to get out the door. So now we're in the weird spot where, like the last even couple weeks, there's lots of bug fixing and support, and now the holiday break, I think we're probably all going to be sitting around going, what do we do?
Staring at
it. Yeah, we didn't know if we'd ever get here. We thought it would just be, we take our shot and maybe folks will like it enough. And it has been great, so yeah, now we have to answer those questions.
I saw yours first, so that
I wanted to know what were your guys' favorite moments while actually making the game.
I want to give this one to Nat.
Natalie?
Oh my. Okay. Boy, I have favorite memories all over the place. I mean, definitely we're a remote studio, so our team is all over the country. We've got a couple folks in Canada and Brazil. So definitely one of the highlights for me was very beginning, nascent stages. We got everybody at the company at the time together in Reno, Nevada, to do a project kickoff, and we had everybody, break out into writers' room groups and design groups, and that was just a really special moment because it felt like, oh, this thing is going to be real, and just getting everybody in person. So that one sticks out for me.
Yeah, a couple come to mind. We all recorded separately, individually, so at no point did we did the actors get to interact with one another. They had a press day where they got a lot of the actors together, and that was my first time meeting Alana and Joel and Lance, and it was really cool to put faces to voices that I've been hearing in my ears. And I think the other one is probably recording episode 4's date. For those who experienced that. That was really fun. I think there's just a lot of little layers to Blazer/Mandy that you get to see in that moment, that I felt very lucky to be able to record something like that.
Yeah. Awesome. So for me, I have two. One of them was we did this like a visual test for this moment with Blazer and Robert on the billboard, and that was the first time we got to see what the game was actually going to look like. And like once we had this like little jewel we were showing people, and the reaction we were getting from people was really positive, and we kind of knew we had something. So that really stuck out to me. And then the other thing was when we showed the trailer at the Game Awards, that was like a really amazing, I was like floating off the ground. It was I was so anxious, I was a ball of nerves. All of us were stressed out. When it was over, we didn't celebrate, we just went to Pierre's house and stress ate a pizza. But it was really, those were two moments that and it was cool because I got to be there with people, like with the folks who made it. It was just like, whoa, this is really awesome. And yeah, that stuck out to me.
Yeah, the Game Awards and showing the trailer was definitely, I know Nick and I were extremely stressed as well.
It was not a highlight for me.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're worrying about like, is the website going to be working the moment that it gets announced, and all the socials and just everything. As it's a weird role when we are also co-founders of the business. You sort of have your like the creative side, and you're working on a game, and then there's also all the responsibilities you never think about for the stuff that usually you would have like teams of people who are just taking care of all this, and we realize, oh, this is all on us.
Yeah, that night we, the plan was, because basically we don't want our Steam page to go live before like the game's announced, so we have to basically do it in the window that Erin and Laura walk out on stage and before the trailer ends. Like we have to get it out, 'cause at the very end of the trailer it has playdispatch.com or dispatchgame.com. And we don't want 100,000 people typing that in and it going nowhere. But so what happened was that we had a programmer back at wherever she lives, and she was responsible for hitting the button that launched it on Steam. And I had given her like permissions and on making sure we'd gone through all this stuff. And so Laura and Erin walk out, and I'm on Slack on my phone, and I'm like, okay, let's go ahead, launch it. And so I'm just kind of like watching, and the trailer starts, and I look down at my phone, and on my phone it just says, shit. It's like, what the fuck? And then she's like, it doesn't work, I can't launch it. And then it was just like all the sound dropped out. I was like, just like, oh, I like turn around, pulling out my phone. I've never tried to do this. I've never tried to launch a game ever. I had to do it on my phone, and I wasn't prepared, so I was like, I could hear the trailer like echoing in the halls of the thing, and I'm just like, it was like I was like poisoned or something. I was just like, I had to remember what the like dev partner URL for Steam was, which I had never looked up on my phone, so I was like trying to figure that out, and then luckily it worked, and I had to do authentication, all this shit, but I knew I had like a 2.5 minute timer or whatever, and I was just like trying to do it all on my phone on my tiny screen. and somehow it worked. And thank you everyone at Valve for making that shit work on a phone, because if it was only desktop, we would have been fucked. So that was not a fun night. But I don't know. That was my best story.
What was your highlight?
Oh, my God. Being here with you guys. It being over, honestly. It was so stressful.
No, and we're, again, doing episodic release, we knew that being reliable and on time was super important. So for like the last 6 months, I know personally me, I've been like, as long as the game comes out when it's supposed to, that's all I care about. And if someone out there is also like, hey, that was fun, it's like, great, I'm glad that you had that experience, but like we just have to get it out on time. So yeah, we always just remember the stresses from making the game. I guess it's kind of what we're learning.
Right on.
You had talked earlier about background characters and being able to actually have them in the game. Were there any characters or designs that were originally meant to be kind of a bigger role, or any that you would maybe want to be a bigger role?
The biggest one is Mr. Whiskey, who's the big cat. We added in episode 8, a little cold open. He was originally a character that you could choose to be on your team in like the earliest versions of the game. Yeah, super early. Yeah, you had to choose between Waterboy, Mr. Whiskey, and Invisigal. And you basically, but there was no team aspect. It was like a solo relationship you had. And then once we had the idea for the team, we kind of spread it out. And Mr. Whiskey didn't make the cut because he was in Seek, and we thought that would be hard. So that's the big one. What else?
Maybe you can talk about Winter, right?
Winter, you want to almost talk about Winter?
Yeah.
Derek?
We had a Z team member that got cut. We just could not get a design that worked for us. Like, we were just never happy. I don't know how much you want to get into it. I don't know if there would be further use for a character like this in the future. But he was like a K-pop guy.
Yeah.
That also had like a ice power kind of thing. And we kicked around that idea for a long time, and he was Prism's best friend. Yeah. And we ended up changing it so Malevola and her were tight, but we couldn't get that one to work. I feel like there was a ton of characters that ended up on the cutting room floor or got repurposed. Sweet Talker from the tutorial was just a random design that one of our concept artists lab had done that we were just trying to force into the game in some way, shape, or form. We just we want that dinosaur mobster in the game, and I think we were toying around with the idea that he shot a pellet gun, like beanbag gun, but would put it right next to your face and just pulverize your face.
Yeah, that was the thing with all the Z-Teamers. We were like, we can't have them have guns or things.
Yeah, we didn't want anybody getting murdered. So we're like, what if we just use it as a meat tenderizer?
Yeah, it's like they replaced his bullets with beanbags. It was the thing with Malevola's sword. We made it blunt. It was because we were afraid of people, or of her just slicing people's heads off. She kind of still does, but yeah.
Yeah. Originally, it's supposed to be like G.I. Joe-ish kind of thing. People have lasers. You see someone get blown off screen, but then there's also just full nudity and cussing every other word. So it's a weird balance.
Yeah, go over here.
Oh, yeah, go over. Yep.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I'm trying. I'm so sorry.
I know. I was pointing at him and then I raised my hand after. Am I allowed to ask a question that involves a 5 or 6 episode spoiler?
Yes.
Yes.
I hope everyone here played the game full. This is I don't know, this was just a weird one that I saw. So in the scene where Chase does his run, on the screen you see there's a zigzag. Is that zigzag the fastest way for him to get there, or was he enjoying it? That was my question.
You want the answer, or do you want to live in a bubble? And
I'll take both.
Okay. The answer is that's what the storyboard artist drew when they drew the storyboard.
It looks better visually.
Like, that's cool.
really does.
Because otherwise it would just go...
Yeah, because otherwise it would be a straight line. It was really boring, yeah. But, or maybe, just maybe, he was enjoying every moment of that run. And,
that extra block.
Yeah.
Thank you for both. Yeah.
I go for it.
I'm curious. So the original Game Awards reveal, it had a couple different scenes. I think mostly from this episode, right? And there were a lot more choices in that version shown than what ended up in the game. And I'm wondering what the process was of deciding which ones stayed and which ones were left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
It's kind of a marketing thing, just in a trailer.
Yeah, it's basically that we have the challenge when we're making a trailer that it's, especially the very first one, where we're trying to explain the game and kind of show you the different types of gameplay, with also showing you entertaining cinematic scenes. And so we ended up just deciding that we would prioritize the trailer being good and then show you that it had interactive dialogue on top. So all of those were fudged. They were never existed. And we I'm sorry.
So does that mean I might have hallucinated? There was originally something in the trailer with choosing a voice for beef.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We actually were really worried that there was going to be backlash when we got to that in the game and you couldn't choose a voice.
This is my Roman Empire falling.
Yeah. The alternative was to not have dialogue choices in the trailer, and then no one knows what the game is.
Oh, Did all of Erin's reads of Beef's voice sound like Meth Puppet?
There was a backup. There was a backup for Erin when we recorded, and I remember this is one of the. He was the most nervous Erin Paul's ever been in a session with us. Was he came in and he had read the script the night prior, and he came in kind of like little like nervous, and we're like, "All right, everything good?" And he's like, "Yeah." Meth Puppet? And we're like, yeah. He said it in the script, like in Meth Puppet voice, and he's like, I've been practicing. We're like, okay. And he's like, just don't laugh at me when you hear it. We're like, we're not gonna laugh, Erin. It's gonna be fine.
But he also wanted them to be like, well, what is it in your mind? Like, what do you guys like?
Yeah, he was asking us, and we were like, no, this is you.
Yeah.
You bring what you want to this. And I remember, when he was doing it, his like veins were popping out of his head.
The visuals of that are awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was really funny. But it's funny, that was like the thing he was the most nervous about in the whole game.
It's weirdly too like you're in a booth and you can see them through the window. Like watching him, it felt like he was doing a scene in a movie and he knew there was a camera right here. Because he was so committed and so into it, like Nick's saying, it's like you could see the veins, like he was just all in on it. It was awesome. Yeah.
And then we did a less good one for safety, and we were like, no, we gotta do the first one.
Sorry, I'm gonna cut the line real fast and then on with you. But is there video of him doing that scene?
Locked away in a vault.
Will it be released on the physical version? If it is, maybe see an exclusive nostalgia edition one.
So they did record us in the booth for animation reference.
Yes.
And not to get all technical, but in the contract, it's very much like this is internal only. No one else will ever see this. So if they ever wanted to show that, it's just like it's a lot of it's a lot of
signatures.
Yeah. At least for Erin Paul especially.
One of my favorite, going back to the question earlier, not all the stuff that I was stressed about making the game, but one of the fun things was Jeffrey Wright doing the "It's a hug, not a hand job" line. Because he just did it like 15 times in a row and was just like in his own head and trying different ways, and we're just kind of watching as he just went through a bunch of...
It's a hug, not a hand job. It's a hug, not a hand job. It's a hug, not a hand job.
We're
just like, you can take any of these, you can stop now.
No, and when he finally got it, it was like, all right, let's move on. Well, awesome. That's great.
That was good.
That was funny.
All right, there you go.
We've got one for each of us, if that's all right.
Yeah, throw them out.
Okay, so our first one is, in the team, is there a preferred romance option, or are you kind of unbiased?
She's right behind you.
There's only one right answer.
I think probably, I'd say weirdly our team probably does split the way our audience splits. It's probably about 60-40. It's like towards Vizzy. I mean, part of the issue, sorry, Erin, part of the issue is Vizzy does have like a much more fleshed out arc, right? It's very clear. And she's the underdog, and there's growth and all that stuff. And Blazer's just perfect from jump. And so, I think that's worth something.
It's the people that have the "I can save her" mentality,
Yeah, it's very tempting. Yeah. No, and it was interesting when we were doing, we were playtesting our storyboards. We kind of like through each phase of the process, we get a bunch of people together and they play the game. And it was like 50-50 when we were at that phase. So like we thought we were pretty confident that we're doing the right amount of storytelling with each character up until that point. And then when it got animated, it flipped. And I don't know how much the episode 4 opening contributed. Certainly, it was interesting seeing everyone. Also, the big thing we didn't understand or never fully appreciated until it came out was the end of episode 2, where you find out she's with Phenomenon. We were like, yeah, it's like, no, people aren't going to have an issue with this, and it's been like a huge topic. So we're learning.
Thank you. Yeah, because my friend was very like pro blonde blazer.
Friends, cool.
The other question is, what were the design inspirations for Mecha Man?
That was sorry. So Mecha Man was before my time. Mecha Man's been kicking around on a pitch deck for a while, right? Before I came on board. He's just kind of like a. I don't know. Seriously, like the very very. Are you talking about the mech suit itself?
Yes,
the
our
suit.
friend is very much in the mechs. So.
Gaia. So it's kind of like a retro. It's like a Gundam, kind of. But the interior is supposed to feel like kind of like an old. Like the old Apple, old IBM, like beige, crappy computers from the 80s. It had a heyday, right? But now it's gotten like coffee stains. It's duct taped together. He has to like hit it 3 times to get it to work, kind of thing. It's clunky. It's like a big clunky gorilla. Like that's the feeling, right? It's not slick. The color itself is like, I don't know, was sort of inspired by the like patina that would happen to copper. So it's like kind of a play on that.
Do you guys like the episode 1 mech suit or the episode 8 mech suit better? This is something.
I wouldn't know, but I would say he prefers 8 because he like trained in Halo. He loves Gundams too.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are we feeling? 1? Anyone? Any love for 1?
I'm a sucker for 1.
I think the devs like 1 better than 8.
I like his dad's.
Okay. Yeah, let's go way back. Cool.
Yeah, his dad. I mean, his dad's a gearhead. So his dad's. We don't really get to see his dad's that often, but so you can imagine. His is gonna have the flair of like a muscle car, like the big. So it would be the Gundam with the fins and all this kind of stuff, like spoilers. But Robert's inherited this thing, and the spoilers fell off. And then it's like you just got the chassis, and things were, he found a piece of sheet metal that he had to retrofit to this thing. It's a retrofit look, kind of. It's a Gundam that had its heyday and has now aged and it's at the end of its life, kind of thing. Yeah.
It's
Thank you.
It's weirdly similar to SDN in a way, where the interior of that office was always meant to be like, it was the coolest place.
I can talk about this.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I can talk about this. No one ever wants to talk about SDN, ever. But I'll tell you the whole thing with SDN and where the inspiration is there. So, driving around California, you'll notice these municipal buildings that are from like the 60s and 70s, like they're mid-century. There might be a term for it that I stumbled on called mid-century mundane, and I really liked that. It just like stuck with me. So it's kind of like post office or town halls that architecture nerds like, but regular people drive by it every day and don't think anything of it. And so I was on the hunt for something really cool like that, and then Pierre, our writer, was like, "Oh, have you ever been to the Huntington Beach Library?" I was like, "No." And so I made a trek down south and hung out there. And when I walked in, I was like, "Holy shit, this is SDN." It was like this place that it was a relic. It was a relic of the 60s and 70s, like architecture. A lot of the stuff was still preserved. It was dated, but it was still really interesting. And the other thing too is I really like the idea that in these buildings, sometimes there's stories about them that like conspiracy theorists come up with. Like I like this idea that people are like, "Oh, did you ever hear there's a bomb shelter underneath the fucking town hall?" Like I like that stuff, and it started getting me thinking about things because if you notice at SDN, there's a subterranean level, and it's labyrinthian. Like, why the fuck is there a med bay down there? Like, what is it all about? And so that started getting me thinking about, like, what was SDN doing? What was that building used for before SDN was in there, right? And so I was like, started to come up with my own ideas about, like, well, maybe, it's the 60s, 70s, like, maybe, it's the time of, like, they're trying to root out communist spies during this time. Oh, what's going on? Maybe there's, what was happening there? And then that started getting me thinking about the terminal and like what the terminal, because remember he mentions like, oh, is that legal? Like that you're spying on the public? And so I like the idea that the architecture style married with this idea of mystery about the whole building that could lead, if there was ever because I like the idea that if they smashed it and at the end of 8, maybe things could be uncovered about what was actually being done in the building before they were there. So anyway, yeah.
That's why we like working with Derek a lot, and we just make him come over and work with us on this one.
Good job, Derek.
Yeah. And then I feel like on our side, people are like, "Why is this power on this hero?" We're like, "I don't know. We swapped it."
I like the color red.
Yeah.
I don't really. Okay. First of all, thank you all for being here. Again, it's phenomenal. Thank you just for being here. My question is actually for Erin. So I actually, as someone who wants to like delve in voiceover, I was wondering for you, since you've been a part of a lot of the Telltale stuff, doing all those like, choose your own like adventure sort of games. What's it like for you when you play a character and you have to like redo a scene, but like the choice is different? What it's like for you to play that?
Yeah, I mean, my very first voiceover role was Molly in season 1 of The Walking Dead. So my very first like go at voiceover was branching narrative. So it's kind of what I was born and raised on. And for a while, it felt like I was like it was a unique skill set that I had because of my Telltale era. And now a lot of games like to explore branching options, but no one does it quite like AdHoc. So
did we get that? We're recording.
They're the best of the best. Yeah, I mean it's an interesting journey in the booth, but for the most part, it's between the collaboration between you and whoever's directing you. In my case, it was mostly Nick was directing me, going in order of the script where it makes the most sense. So rather than going line by line, which a lot of games are just like, I have no context, I didn't get to see the script ahead of time, I'm literally just saying a line and hoping I'm nailing the bullseye. This was a situation where I had the script ahead of time, so I can make sense of all of these jumps, and it's formatted in a way that makes sense, where it's like, okay, this would follow this says conditional, so I know this only plays if this happened in episode 2. So I can do that legwork ahead of time, and then when I'm in the booth, we're recording in a way that makes sense, where it's like, let's do the whole pass where it's if you went on the date with Robert and there's maybe a little bit more of a glint in your eye, and then we'll go back and we'll do the version where you're just buds and you're just coworkers and you respect him, and there's a slightly different kind of zhuzh to the mood there. But yeah, it's all about like the prep, which again is a rarity in my line of work, to be able to have the luxury of preparing, which is, I think, you all for being ready so that I can do that. Look at you, I know you're the ones who sent me the script, so
it's just wild to me, and I think to all of us, to think otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, you want to set your actors up who are in charge of embodying the role
Yeah.
for success. And, you know, to do that with them coming in blind, having never read a script is insane.
That's a standard.
Yeah, and they also, what unique to them, it's very rare to see, is if someone in the scene with me had already recorded, they would play me feeder lines, meaning like I would hear Aaron Paul and the read that they chose for him so that I could act off of it. So even though we didn't get to record together, I'm especially bitter about never getting to record with Aaron Paul. I'm just gonna put that out there if season 2 happens. Get me in that booth.
Yeah.
But it really helps kind of set the tone, right? Like whatever choices he made, I can act off of that, so we don't sound like we were in 2 different continents when it happened. Yeah.
And then we have the feeder lines when they're available if we've already recorded a session beforehand. But to the point about the organization of stuff, how much time would you spend with scripts to kind of like make it good for an actor?
Oh boy. Well, we had tools that our engineering team built to aid in that process. So we had a scripting tool essentially where we laid out all the dialogue and the branching paths and all of this. And then, more brilliant minds than I made it so that I could just spit out a format where, it looks like a screenplay, so that actors are, more familiar with this. Also, another standard for video game recording is people basically just reading lines in an Excel sheet, which is horrific for everybody involved. So we, I don't know, spent... Good God. On any given episode, I don't know what, like up to 20 hours preparing and just getting all the branching right. And yeah, it's a lot.
Worth it.
Yay, production.
Alright, so one of my favorite things, I love a lot about the game, but one of my favorite things is the casting. It's just, I love the diversity of who they are, what their normal job is, all that kind of stuff. So my question for you guys is, either generally like whose portrayal like surprised you or was like your favorite, or just like your favorite line from whoever.
You did. We all have the same favorite surprise performance.
What's the surprise performance?
I was a safe one day.
Oh, Lance. Yeah. So yeah, with Flambe, we had an idea of the character. We knew that he's going to be an asshole. That's about it. But we had to start like storyboarding the scene and starting to go through animation. So we had one of our writers, Chad, do the scratch, and it was fine. Right, he's an asshole. His name's Chad. And literally that's where Flambe's name comes from. Is the guy who read the lines. And then we started animating, and then we found Lance. And Lance brings such a specific voice to that character. He's just so funny in the booth. He does so much ad-lib. So much of what you hear from him, especially in the gameplay, is ad-lib. The sort of, what is it, the car? Very phenomenal. Kia Soul. That's all him. Just like adding shit.
That's my favorite line.
That is kind of like, it's my favorite time. But if you look at episode 1, what you'll notice is it's animated to a different person's performance. So I see it, and now it's all ruined for you. But basically, he doesn't have the same sort of like, extravagancy, the swagger. Like there's something that's just not quite there until you start to see it get added into later. But everyone was great. I mean, I think we cast this in a way that it was very. I mean, we probably took too long to cast. I'm sure Natalie.
We did, definitely.
I think it paid off.
Yeah.
But we were in production and we were still casting certain characters. I think Gollum was the last person we cast, and it was very late. But no, I mean, a lot of this was taking advantage of the personality. So we would, find people we like, and then think about how can we work with them? Do they make sense in the game? Charlie was he was it's going crazy. Charlie was, we actually originally brought him in for Gollum, and just because he's a deep voice, and we thought that would make sense. And then while we were in there, we were like, oh, why don't you also read for Sonar? Because we were on a Zoom call, just doing callbacks. And then he read for Sonar, and it like immediately we were like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Like that sound with that face looks good. It's working, you know. So a lot of this was trial and error. We had some characters or actors we brought in that didn't work, and kind of went different directions. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were pleasant surprises all the way around. I think mine is definitely Thought Squad as Prism. They came in and, you know, we likewise got on like a callback Zoom and, you know, said, hey, have you ever acted before? Like, what are you talking about? I grew up doing theater, and like, oh my god. And then, you know, we were running through the lines and it was like, yes, you are an actor. And she just brought so much amazing personality. Also, I think my favorite line is a gameplay ad-lib that she did for Prism, where you'll just like send her out and she just goes, in the name of the moon, I'll beat your ass. And it just cracks me up every time. It's like a Sailor Moon like reference. Anyway.
Yeah, mine is bitch you blind forever.
That's a clear short line right there.
Yeah.
Also, like, last minute add to that scene, so yeah, it's funny.
One of my favorite lines is actually from a character that I feel like maybe hasn't gotten his flowers yet. Armstrong, who's just like obsessed with breaking everyone's arms because they broke his arms. But yeah, in episode 8, when Malevola and Vizzy are fighting him and they slice off his left arm and he's like crying, and I think Vizzy says like, it's fine, you can still jerk, like we left your dominant hand, you can still jerk off, and he just goes, bitch, I'm left-handed! And he says it, it's almost, if you don't have subtitles on, you probably don't know what he's saying, but the read is just like
so
pure,
wild.
it's so raw, it's so funny to me. All of his, I don't know who that actor is, but he's great.
Frankie Quinones?
Yeah, knocked it out of the park. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Blonde Razor line?
Favorite? I mean, the classic, like, hero is, like, I'm not done saving you yet.
Nice.
Yeah, I just kind of like it when she tosses stuff back. So, like, the corporate dick, like, not, I didn't say I was being corny. Or, that's why I shouted out the choice at the end. I want you to say that you want to go to dinner. Because I love the banter between her and Phenomena Man of just like, oh, would he die? It's like, yeah, he would die. Like, just can't handle that speed. Sorry. Yeah, when she kind of elbows back. Good.
What inspirations eventually led to the current art direction?
That's broad. Okay, so
you guys got time?
Yeah. In the very beginning, I think the designs that were kicking around on the deck before I came, it was a bit more cartoony. Maybe is the way to put it. But I think as the materials started coming in, there was like a level of maturity that I wanted to bring to the look and the facial performance. So that I think that guided a lot of the character designs and all that kind of stuff, especially in the models and all that kind of thing. But I would say the biggest thing was that I think that I really pushed on was the cinematography. So like moments like where you're seeing them fly through the city in F1, like that whole moment, I would say that's, you know, me having fun. I was pretty inspired by like late 80s, early 90s anime, like especially there was a movie called Paprika that inspired me a lot because it's really beautiful, it's really nice looking, but it was very, a lot of the sets feel kind of ordinary and mundane, like hallways and just kind of like casual spaces, and I think that was just like, it was a pretty big inspiration for me at that point. So yeah, but there's, I mean, I could talk forever. They know I can't, so.
Should teach a class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go to the back.
So like at the end of episode 8 of like this guy, it says like your robber is like this, like in Telltale is like The Walking Dead. And so what do you guys think is like the base like Robert, like anti-hero, the hero?
Like, what is the canon?
Well, like, Robert.
It's probably hero, right?
Probably hero.
Yeah, I think it's probably you try to do your best.
Yeah, the true hero.
True hero ending, I would guess. Yeah, that's right.
Not the coolest visual though, because the coolest visual is the one with Twinkies behind it. That was you, right? You and Chris.
We're still waiting for that fourth one to get unlocked.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then there's a fourth thing that we get to see people get. So I think you can get it.
I was gonna ask that question, but I think you guys are gonna answer it.
Okay.
Can you tell me how I get the fourth one?
Yeah. There we go.
Turn off the stream. No.
Be better. No,
I would say a little patience would be appreciated.
Are we still waiting for that to...
yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Go for it, Sarah.
I want to hear about the bestest boy, Beef, and what the inspiration for Beef was, and especially that choice at the end, which made our entire house go, no!
You don't need to.
Sure. Yeah, Beef was inspired from a real life, bestest boy. He was originally going to be Bean, a different real life bestest boy. They were actually the Burrito Brothers. Beef and Beef. These were our narrative director and lead writer Pierre's dogs. And Bean did sadly pass away, and we decided to pivot to Beef. Partly just some personal reasons there, but so he at one point he was like a different coloring. He was like a more like a like a blonde, brown, and then he took on that kind of like black and white look that we know and love. And then the ending decisions.
I mean, we just wanted you to scream no in your living room. That's pretty straightforward. Yeah. No, I mean it was also just like how you get a giant mech fight. Like how the hell do we keep this going? Like how do we get another act with Shroud here? So yeah, so Beef came in handy.
Go for it.
I really like Phenomenal Man and the fact that he's a subversion of the evil Superman trope, because he's kind of set up to be an antagonistic force when really he's just a nice guy. It wasn't like earlier versions where he was kind of like evil or antagonistic.
That was always sad Superman, right?
I think the joke was always sad Superman.
So a lot of these characters we touched on a little bit earlier, but they start as jokes a lot of the time. It's just like a one-line thing, like, oh, literal Batman. And then it just kind of sticks around for years, and then eventually makes it into a character.
Sonar's character actually started as Broke Batman.
Broke Batman.
You remember that? and it was just a guy who was always like in some like terrible pyramid scheme and needed help. Like, and then we kind of kept the money piece, but we turned it into like Crypto Bro. But,
Go for it.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what would be your 3 biggest takeaways if there is a season 2? Like, what are the influences you take from this one that we might see in season 2 and big things? I don't know.
I think we can answer that.
There's definitely production learnings.
A lot of production.
Okay.
Oh boy, lock scripts before you start even storyboards.
Wow,
That's
right.
a big takeaway. No, but I mean, this was the studio's first game, and the first for many of us in games at all.
Half our studios never shipped a game before.
Yeah, including me, first shipped game. So it's like. So nothing but lessons along the way. So we learned some painful lessons, some expensive ones, but then there were just battles that people are telling you no or pushing back, but you kind of deep down this is one worth fighting for. So that's a lesson in and of itself, is kind of knowing which battles to wage.
Well, and I want to shout out too. It's easy to, we talk about, we made this fun decision that made you laugh or whatever, but we wouldn't be here right now, and the game would not be out if it were not for Natalie coming in and like making this whole thing like actually get like a round of applause. Amazing.
What was the inspiration for Shroud?
Shredder. We're thinking of what our answer's going to be here.
Yeah, I feel like Shroud.
That was hard.
Yeah, it was hard. I think we just really we started with the mask. It was just a like the mask we knew because it was the whole. We needed some device or mechanism for the whole prediction element to it, and we had the mask because we knew we were gonna have reveals and all this kind of thing. And we kind of just worked and developed that whole thing, and then found a mask that really was working for us.
But it was actually you were drawing. We were doing a bunch of concepts, trying to figure out Shroud and Red Ring, and you drew like a goon. Remember this?
Yeah.
The goon in the vest.
Yeah.
And that mask, we were like, that's the fucking. You drew the mask on the bad guy mask on the nobody. What are you doing? Like, that's just cool. You can't put it on the loser.
Yeah.
And
we took it off the loser.
No, and we tried for like months to other stuff before we just said screw it, just grab his.
There was like Videodrome inspiration.
Yeah, we were going really Videodrome in the beginning. He was way more body horror in the beginning. But the problem was, we had the reveal, the bar reveal. That was a whole part of it, and also too, like, we needed this way for him to, from that point in the bar, be able to put on a couple of elements, and now he's the supervillain, right? And so, what's he gonna do? Hold on, let me put on my
knock you out.
Yeah,
run to the bathroom.
Hold on, I got 7 million straps I need to put on myself to look like a. So it was really about having. It was like the hood comes up, the trench coat goes on, the mask goes on. Now I'm Shroud. It was like that kind of immediacy.
We wanted him to be kind of like normal, like Robert too. We didn't want him to be like a big like.
Yeah, we did
spandex villain.
That was the hardest part. I think we were trying to get him to feel sort of like unassuming, but then he just didn't feel like the big bad.
He wasn't scary.
Yeah, he wasn't scary enough, and so there was a lot of back and forth there. With it was like a collaboration really between myself and the concept artist on that time.
Prediction was also added late. Yeah, Shroud was one of the last things we kind of figured out, and may or may not can tell. But yeah, it was the prediction set was added late. We thought that was a really cool idea for a villain in a game about choice, and so that as like a concept and like trying to the whole like the end with the pulse stuff. That was like supposed to be a culmination of how do you fake out someone who knows everything you're going to do before you do it.
The other thing I wanted to add too is that Shroud is really more about the lighting than his costume. Every time you see him, I would say that's 90% of the character is the lighting and the smoke. So that was like that drove most of the look.
Alright, I'm gonna jump in real fast. Did we actually get a confirmation on who made the Astro Pulse? Because I know there was like, it was Shroud because he's the smarter one, but then if Shroud made it, he could have just made another one. So
I don't know where it landed in the game, but I mean, I think we can talk about it. I mean, the idea is that he made that with Robert Stapp. So they built the suit together, and basically it was like there was something about Robert Stapp that allowed them to create this. And so now that he's murdered his father, he's unable to reproduce it. And so he basically needs to get it back because there's no other way to get it.
So you said Shroud's kind of prediction ability was added a little bit late. I also felt like that's such an incredible like parallel to Robert and the meta narrative like choices you get to make in the game, and it's so cool. And I just wish we had like 2 more episodes to flesh out.
2 more,
just
2 more guys.
2 episodes all Shroud.
We got time. We got a couple weeks.
So
DLC.
The question that goes along with this is, well, obviously whatever happens to Shroud depending on the things that happen in the game. But are there parts of that idea, the kind of like meta narrative, your player choices, the way that the gameplay functions, weaving into the narrative and weaving into the villain and the villain's powers? are you taking those ideas and are you going to do something again with them? Because that was like the coolest thing. I just would love, like, I'm like drooling just thinking it's so cool. It's like my favorite part of the game, and it elevates it to a different level because you as the player, you know, have like you are put in opposition with this guy, and so I'd love to see something like that. Are you thinking about melding more of that Shroud-esque or more Shroud?
It's the most Kojima shit in the game.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple ends for Shroud in this, I'll say season, even though I know it sounds like that means there's more seasons, but we call it a season, even if there's only one. I don't know. I mean, I think we have some options if we really want to like try to have a son. No, I don't know. Oh my God.
Either way, more of that Kojima shit.
Yeah. Okay.
I like
Okay.
it. Just say I like it.
Heard. Thank you.
Alright, go for it, Riley.
I don't know if it's hard or not, but is there a way that you can? Because when I finished the game, I wanted to go back and just watch the cinematics on their own. I was curious if there was a way that you could make that a setting or like an option, because I would love to just rewatch some things without obviously going on YouTube.
Yeah, we talked about it. I mean, technically, you can just put your controller down. It'll just pick for you.
Yeah.
So I guess there's that. We could do a no UI mode. Just turn off all the UI and just watch it.
Movie fast forward mode.
Movie mode.
Yeah.
It was something we talked about at some
Yeah, we
point.
did hear.
Robert's just feeling particularly quiet then.
Yeah, I mean, like when you start these things, you have like a list of here's the 100 things we're gonna do, and then reality sets in halfway through, and then you're like, how about we do these 22 things? So then the rest of them are like maybe on a future project, or maybe whatever, an update or something to the game. But yeah.
All right, I think we have time for maybe just a couple more questions, so we can also do the signatures. Is there?
Yeah, of each of you, which character do you resonate the most with, either in the game or ones that have been cut?
I think Erin has an answer.
Me?
Who do you resonate with? Who was your?
I resonate the most actually with Waterboy. Who always kind of feels a little out of place, but just really wants to be here and is happy to be a part of it all. That's how I feel every day.
Yeah. Toxic. No. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly.
Okay. I guess thinking about it, the person that I resonate the most with is Blazer, because she is the person who is put in charge of this crew
Ragtag team.
Yes.
Fuck ups.
Yeah, misfits, and has to, delegate out to those that she, trusts can get the job done, and,
And as a director, I'm like, Robert, I'm dispatching people across the company.
Yeah.
I tried.
So, I don't know.
My natural state is probably beef, because I would like to just sit around all day.
Yeah.
Hang out.
Eric.
I love Twinkies and I always look tired, so I'm gonna say Robert.
Yeah. Alright, so let me see if there's a story.
Yeah, I want to.
Well, I want to see if is there anyone who hasn't asked it? You haven't asked it?
Yeah.
Perfect, go for it.
Where did you guys get the inspiration for I'm a bitch, I ain't dry?
Alright, we got some tea. Yeah. So in the script. This is an exclusive.
Hey!
In the script, it was Radiohead's Creep. To do that in your head about what that would be like.
I've been dodging questions about this for weeks now, so this is fun.
Yeah, so it was that, and and you can hear it in your head and what you would be doing, and it was really funny. We all thought it was hilarious, and we even, I think, recorded it. We did record it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we recorded it.
Oh boy. We definitely recorded a version of that. In fact, I believe we storyboarded to that song. Which is scary because then you start animating and you go, we need to make sure we can actually get this song in the game before things go too far down this path. And we reached out to our lovely music soup, and she reached out to the license holders, and we got a sticker shock of a.
It was like our
price tag.
entire music budget for the season.
Yes, for that one song. So we went, oh God, that isn't going to happen. So I went back to Dennis and Chris.
And I think naively going in, we're like, Radiohead has all the money in the world. Like, they've released albums for free. They're not going to care. But yeah, then we got the animation clock started ticking where they're going to have to do the performance, and obviously they have to be singing a song. And so, yeah, we basically made a list of a bunch of songs. We were trying to find something that was kind of like from the 90s or early 2000s-ish. But wasn't like some, like, you know, really iconic
Can't
thing.
be like a huge, crazy song, but it has to be something people know.
But you have to know it, yeah. And so, on episode 5, I co-directed that with Chris, who's one of our other directors at the studio, who basically would sing the Meredith Brooks song, except just say, I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch, over and over again to his wife all day, calling himself the bitch. And so, yeah, so he pitched that one, and we're like, that's fun, that could be a fun song. And then I guess you guys, one day we just got the approval of like, yeah, I think we're good to go. We're like, it was, I mean, probably after we needed to make the choice, animation-wise, it was like right on the end there, and then once it was picked, it was just like, all right, cool.
No, I think it's actually better. But the only thing that didn't work as well was the transition, right? So like when his fingers get sliced, it used to be, because he like goes like, and then it used to be like, what's he like? It's the.
It was supposed to be
creep. I'm a weirdo. So you go, and then that would come out, and it wouldn't make any sense. So the transition doesn't work as well.
Yeah, that's very true.
But everything else is good.
But you said Tiny Little Peen.
Tiny Little Peen. That's right.
Oh yeah, Chris wrote those lyrics for the chorus there, and then in the booth, Lance just basically did an improv take of the entire rest of the song.
All one take.
That's what's in there because it was so funny. It was just like, I mean, this needs to go in the game now.
Right on. Is there anyone else who has not asked the question yet that has one? Go for it.
Kind of a random question, but as someone who cosplays, does cosplay ability play a factor at all in character development in the video game industry, or is that something that's not thought of at all until like a second kind of afterthought?
You never think, like, when they said we didn't know if people would play this game, it's like, that's for real. We didn't know. And all of a sudden everybody's dressing up as our characters for Halloween. We're like, what the fuck? So honestly, no.
I think it's different for Derek. I don't think Derek's thinking about this stuff.
Yeah.
We learned a lesson on Tales from the Borderlands working with Gearbox. And one of their big things was they would essentially create their main characters to be like cosplayable and make them all different and unique for different types of people. So we learned that from them on Borderlands, and then it's something that at least Pierre and I were talking about when we were designing the characters for this Derek.
I thought the answer was going to be yes.
No, because I feel like it would put me in a box. I would immediately start thinking how you build everything. Like, how can a person make this when I'm like, no, I just want a giant fucking bat in there. Then, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I mean, it's one of those weird things where it's hard to imagine when you work on a character that people are going to dress up them at all. It's like an incredible honor. You know what I mean? So, in hindsight, I probably, should have in the future. Yeah.
You guys did good. I got this out of my closet.
I mean, yeah.
Robert's perfect. Alright, maybe one last question. Are we good? Alright.
So going forward for the studio, I was wondering, since all of you guys have a background in like the choice-based stuff, is that kind of what you want to stick to? I'm a sucker for choice-based, and I need more of it. So.
I mean, we're making a multiplayer first-person shooter right now.
No.
I told you not to do that.
Is it 5v5?
They're interested. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we obviously spent a long time at Telltale. We built our studio to, if Delta wasn't around, we wanted to make sure that we could carry the torch, and also improve and iterate and grow. So whatever we do next will be more driven by story, driven by characters, and then the gameplay will kind of wrap that up and support that. So
yeah, it is a focus of our studio. We all really appreciate narrative in games, and the interactivity is a big piece for us that we're excited about. And I think when we had talked about starting a studio, along the way we talked about other types of games we could do, and there's definitely some temptation to say, we've been making this narrative type of game for a while. What if we just do something totally different? And then I think in doing that, we would always gravitate back to the things we liked about the experiences that we're sort of good at building. And then at some point too, you're just like, we should do the things that we're best at, and like that would be the thing that would probably make people as interested as possible in the game and enjoy it as much as possible. Maybe there's a first-person shooter in there somewhere, but we're probably not the people to make it.
Right on. Well, let's give them a round of applause. I also wanted to give Dennis a special shout out to. I am very spoiled because my sword's in the game, not just once, but how many times?
4 times.
4 times. One of the things I really appreciate about this game is the replayability of it. I like short games, and so you can play this game multiple times and get different, takes on it. And so it gives you guys opportunity to find 4 different locations of Nostalgia Alley in there.
There's 4 references. One of them is really, really hard.
Yeah.
That I would be impressed if anyone got.
So we'll give someone something very special if you can find all 4 of those references. So we'll just throw that out there.
We're drive home really fast.
It doesn't have to be tonight, obviously. Just you find those 4, you tell me, and then we'll figure it out.
I hope you like a lifetime supply of Twinkies.
That's on AdHoc, right?
1 Twinkie.
There we go. Right on. Cool. Well, thank you guys again so much. And then why don't you guys head downstairs, and then we'll get these guys down there in a few minutes, and we'll do some pass off the posters and get some autographs signed. Cool. Thank you guys again.
Thanks, everybody.